All right, so our next conversation now. Corruption and waste remain two of the biggest drains on businesses and public institutions in Nigeria, from inflated costs and missing funds to weak controls and poor documentation. Billions of naira are lost every year, not always through theft, but often through poor systems and weak financial reporting. Now we're asking a critical question. Can better financial reporting actually reduce corruption and waste? And how can proper accounting systems help businesses protect themselves from internal fraud, leakages, and regulatory trouble, including, tax problems? Joining me for this conversation, I have Professor Godwin Oyedokun, who is a professor of accounting and financial development, Leeds City University, and Deputy Conference Chairman, 20th ICANN Western Zonal Conference. Joining me right here in the studio. It's good to have you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Fantastic.
It promises to be better.
Yeah, so, definitely when it comes to accounting, I don't know if, businesses, individuals actually take it as serious, as it should be at this point. But looking at it from the government level, we keep talking about leakages, funds not being, accounted for, as they should. Talk to me about how, accounting can help solve the leakages issues, because definitely we have a government that's trying to spend a lot of money in 2026, looking at the budget, and there's a big deficit. And we're trying to borrow, trying to get as much money to fill up that deficit. But talk to me about how accounting can actually help with some of the leakages and, helping, increase that or reduce the budget deficit.
Okay, so in summary, we can just say accounting helps us to understand and know the position of the business at when you want to know it. So it has to do with you reporting the activities of business at a particular point in time. And this is in line with our concept, consumption, and principle. So how do we come in when it comes to issue of corruption and the likes? Depend on our understanding, the issue of corruption has taken to be so many things to so many people. However, when it comes to businesses or government functionaries, we can reduce that to lack of accountability, which is one of the tenets of accounting. So when you allow things to be struded in secrecy, chances that people will prey on it and they benefit unduly, then the issue of fraud will come in. And the fraud is not something we can say is accidental, like people will say, but it's deliberate and it's a calculated attempt for a particular person or set of people to get hold on things that is not theirs, to their benefit, and the other party, which may be business, organization, and the likes, get out for it. Same.
Right.
So accounting, if you really understand and bring it into the concept of business itself, it will go a long way in reducing activities, because fraudsters prey on complexity. So if the complexity of business is not reduced to accounting in terms of let's know what we are doing at a particular point in time, it will be a kind of problem and they will thrive in it.
Right. So, so I guess it's at every level, from government to private sector. We'll have to make sure we, get our accounting straight.
Yes.
At this point. So, who is affected more? When you look at, if you look at it from the government side and on private sector, do you think the government should, look at running the country as a business, like the way a private sector, company would run, their business, making sure that they have their accounting straight? What do you recommend
in
to
Nigeria,
reduce, leakages?
In Nigeria, and especially the extraction which I come from, we say something that we all jointly own. Especially if it's a slave. I'm not saying we should be having slave again. You will notice that the hair of the slave will be too bushy because nobody wants to contribute to having barb his hair. So if it is yours, you'll be able to do it well. And I want to say that government may not have business in doing business, except the business of ensuring the citizens are okay. Okay, so if government business is there, everybody feel, think, believe that is our national cake, and everybody is coming with their sizes of knife to cut it. But if it is yours, you will not look and allow your business to be ruined. That is where the accountability in the government sector should be seen in the mind or in the feelings of private entity, because the business you are holding, and you know how you got your money to establish that business, you will not want that business to, Yoruba will say, guatu, as in you don't want it to go down in extinction. So by the time we handle business of governance as our business, in terms of the fact that how will I run this business to make it more profitable, whether we are sharing profit or the goodness of it to the citizen is another case, then we are going nowhere in that. And if you, by the time you talk about corruption in government sector and business, don't be deceived. It's the same. It's only that we are seeing that of government because we have ability and capacity to continue to abuse government. But what is going on in private businesses are also there, because you are not getting it because they are hidden. And if I have business and the fraudulent activities is going on there, I wouldn't want to come to the society to say there's fraud, because I want to protect the image. And that's exactly what is going on in a business, private business. However, the treatment of fraudster in private is more decisive, more intelligently done than what is happening in the government sector. Because if I'm bearing Yoruba name and this, God forbid they say I'm defrauding them, immediately you mention my name and the people from Yoruba extraction can say, oh, it's because it's Yoruba, that's why you are prosecuting him. We are laced without lifting the veil of what we should do. Right. And that's the difference between the two sectors that we're talking about.
So, you know, looking at, you know, the private sector at this point, is it just because of, you know, criminals operating, you know, in a company, can we call them that, you know, that exploit some of the loopholes when it comes to, you know, the finances of that company? Is it just about the criminals, or is poor accounting also a major issue?
No, so in business, let me say businesses, the more you tight the loopholes, the better for you. You will agree with me that some businesses that have a lot of money in it, that's Yoruba English, as in they have enough capital. If you fail to get rank and file in terms of auditor, internal control, accountant, tax experts, qualified accountants, you are running the risk of ensuring personally that your money will not be completed in terms of that. So when you have businesses and you are too intelligent than ensuring each of the functions of your organization are manned by professionals, you will definitely have issue. So the companies that have full set of governance, corporate governance, they are less prone to that kind of fraudulent activities, unlike the one that want to do all the job. The managing director is the driver, driving himself to the office. He will get to the gate, open the gate, then want to run around, run himself. And he believes that he can take care of everything. There's no way you can do that. But in the corporate, strong corporate organization that you have chief accountant, professional accountant, and the likes, they are trained, just like you talk about the issue of conference that we are talking about now. They are trained because in our HICAN, we train people. So they know that they cannot go to that kind of organization as a member of HICAN and misbehave. Okay? So that separates organization with good corporate governance and the one that just want to run, and you and company.
Okay, so let's look at tax. Now, there's a lot of talk about, you know, taxes with the new tax laws in Nigeria. And even right here in Lagos, we see the LIRS also looking to educate everyone, you know, about, you know, filing your, you know, corporate taxes on time and all of that. Talk to me about how accounting can help individuals, because right now, everybody, you have to, as long as you're doing anything in this country, you have to make sure you get your taxes straight, you know, at this point. Talk to me about how accounting can help you not get in the wrong side, you know, of things.
Okay, so the truth of the matter is that where accounting stops, tax continue. I didn't say accounting will stop, finally. Tax continue, because the basis of taxation will come from what you have accounted for. And government is not a magician. And they can't say they love God. That's why they are putting their nose into your business. They are there because they are stakeholders as recognized by accounting shenanigans, right? So if they are interested in your business, it's because they want to see your profitability level. You can only get profitability level if you have done your accounting work very well. You see the linkage. It is on that profit that government want to apply their tax rate, even in terms of company income tax. So you need a good accounting record in order to showcase. However, at the level of taxation, there are some accounting treatments that are normal in line with international financial reporting standards. But when it comes to tax accounting, there are some surgical operations we need to do in order to ensure that that which flow with the principle of taxation is extracted and the profitability level is recalculated. Then government will now put tax on it. So how will good accounting system help better the life of taxation? If you do not debit what you are supposed to debit accurately, credit what you are supposed to credit accurately, then it will be coming from the angle of principle of GIGO, that is garbage in, garbage out. You can't feed the system with bad data and you are expecting miracle. So whatever the thing you feed into accounting system is what accounting system will bring out, and that's what government will tax. So if you don't prepare your financials very well in terms of financial reporting, then basis of taxation is going to be wrong. Sometimes organizations may not want to go into tax evasion or avoidance, but they are doing so ignorantly because they have reduced accounting processes to nothing, that they can do it. After all, it's just to write one side and the other side. But it's more than that. That's why for our instruction as professional accountants, I can remember we've been trained to ensure we do the right thing, and we know what we are doing, and we keep training them, just like we want to do in the conference that's forthcoming by February.
I'm talking about, training, at this point. Definitely, I'd like to understand how, how you guys go about, training your accountants at this point. You did also talk about a conference, that's coming up. Talk to me about how all of this, helps to, because, as a country, we definitely want to get it straight when it comes to our resources, as a government, even the private sector, want to somehow align, everything so that we can get some good development, for the country and also the private sector.
Okay, so when you belong to a profession, it's not just like any other association, it's just a profession. And you can't get a first class if you are not in a class. Like our conference that we are talking about, which is our 20th Zonal Accountant Conference of ICANN. The theme of that conference is revitalizing the Nigerian economy for sustainable, and we want to see how we can accelerate the development. How will accountants come in? So the lineup of training from our own extraction is that as soon as you become a professional accountant of ICANN, you are a title and you must be going for training, which you must accrue credit hour to up to 120 per year. And you can imagine the training may be just 1 or 2 points. You can see how many training you must attend and ensure that you do within a year. So that shows that you will no longer be able to carry our badge as ICANN member if you do not attend such. And that's why in the mind and the wisdom of ICANN Council and the presidency, they've allowed regional conferences like Western Zone, which I am representing here today. We have a conference annually, and the 20th one is coming, which is going to be hosted by my district, Ilupeju Bagada and District Society of ICANN. So we have lined up a lot of activities from 4th to 7th of February, where we are training people on the blue economy, tax compliance, tax reform, and everything that will make accountants.
I see a lot of mentions of tax there.
Yes, it has to, because we cannot probably function well without training our member on the issue of taxation, and you want to like it. And that's why we have lined up that, and it's going to be held here in Lagos, very opposite here, and it promises to be one of the best. So, in order not to lose the track of your question, there's no way you belong to that kind of institute, association, and you will not be able to stand tall in what you have taken as your responsibility in the country, that you're an accountant. It's not accountant that because you just graduated from Polytechnic of no, you've been refined.
Well, you know, in every profession, you know, you always have the good eggs, you know, the bad eggs at this point. So when it comes to accounting, who are the bad eggs there?
Okay, so in accounting, I wouldn't understand the concept of bad egg, because any egg should be okay until you mishandle it. If egg's supposed to be put in the fresh air and you go and keep it under the bushel, what do you expect? Okay? If you are supposed to have an accountant that you should, as an organization, to be going for training, but because you don't want to spend on that and you allow that to be boxed into your office, what will that person do? If you are supposed to recruit accountant that have been certified okay as an accountant, you say no. You just need somebody that finished from secondary school who you can explain to where to put money coming in, money going out. Of course, you get what you deserve in that manner. However, politically, I understand what you are saying, that some people, despite the fact that they were well trained, they have allowed the unethical behavior to take hold of them. If they are a member of any useful organization, there are some disciplinary procedure. In ICANN that I'm representing here today, we have all sort of committee that deals in that you can report. Once you notice any infraction, aberration from many of our members, all you need to do is to just report. That person will be called, and it gets to the level of tribunal in which the power there is just like power that you have been to court. You can only appeal to court. The kind of power we have, that such committee has.
So I'm guessing you don't have that much bad eggs.
Yes, we should have it.
Right.
If you are thoroughly bred, you are thoroughly baked, if you are thoroughly trained, and you have the certification that requires. Because, like I told you, you must be going for training. You must be going for conferences, and it is a must. And naturally, why would I want to be a bad accountant when I know the concept of my integrity and what I hold in society?
Right. All right, so much to unpack there. Definitely businesses, everyone's gearing up for 2026 at this point, you know, trying to get their taxes straight, accounting straight, to make sure they're in the right standing, you know, when it comes to the law. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Professor Godwin Oyedokun is a professor of accounting and financial development, Leeds City University, and deputy conference chairman, 20th ICANN Western Zonal Conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.